What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today we're updating our tier list and we have big news. The spreadsheet is live. Link down below. After we go through this list, I will walk us through the spreadsheet a little bit, compiling up metadata, deck cores, a bunch of helpful information. Let me know what else you would like to see. More big news. If you can see it there, we have our early April giveaway that is starting now. It is going to be an enchanted rare Kita. To enter this giveaway, Patreon link down below. If you don't want to do that, that's okay. We also have a Beast Tragic Hero that we're giving away to someone who comments on this video down below. So, Beast Tragic Hero, you gotta like, subscribe, comment down below, enchanted rare Kita, be on that Patreon list to get into that Patreon exclusive giveaway. So, now that we have those two things, let's go jump on into our tier list. First deck that's going to come on up is our Beast OTK. This deck had so much hype around it just a month ago when we went into this format. Unfortunately, it is going to go down in our Rogue category. I think this deck still has success potential. It's just not performing well at the moment, so it is going to go down in our Rogue for the time being. The next deck being our discard. It's another green steel deck. However, unlike the Beast OTK, this deck is going to come in at tier 3 a little bit higher. This deck being kind of like the Shift variant, but they play things like Sudden Chill, potentially Hypnotize, Prince John, Lucifer, other discard outlet type cards. Amethyst Emerald, another deck that is very fun to play, however it's going down in our Rogue category. Bounce Tempo, this is the Emerald Amethyst list that kind of exploded onto the scene early and was a very formidable threat. However, it's actually going to end up in our tier 2, and we'll explain why when we get over to that spreadsheet. Blue Steel Resist, where does this deck fall? It's actually going to be tier 2. It started out really slow, but these last 2 weeks the deck came back pretty good. Manor being a very good card for them. Lucky Dime, another tool that they can use. But just these two colors and the wheel ramp and the fact that they play really well into the Ruby Amethyst matchup helps them go up the list. Jafar's New World, another deck that was hyped up like no other, is unfortunately falling a little flat as well. It still manages to hold into a tier 2 spot, but it just does not have enough to push into that tier 1 that we originally predicted it to. It's a bit linear and it's a bit easy to disrupt. The Ruby Steel Location deck. Location control, pirates also can be played with these colors. It's going to come down here as a rogue deck as well. Keep in mind, like especially the rogue category, I'm not putting these in order. I'm just putting them down there. Ruby Amethyst Aggro. So it's not the one that everyone is used to, and it's actually going to be a rogue deck. It was higher up last format, but this format is actually down in our rogue category, as are, well, most of the aggro decks are hyper aggro also down in that category. I did just show my updated list on the channel, so go check that out if you would like to. Our third green steel deck, shift control, beast damage. They typically play Bucky, so they can discard you a little bit with their Floodborns, but they're not really focused on the discard. Where does this deck come out? Tier 2. A little bit behind the Bounce Tempo deck, but ahead of the Blue Steel Resist deck. I got told that I was sleeping on this deck. I'm being harsh on this deck. This deck is better than I give it credit for. Well, it does come in as a tier 3 deck, Mufasa Roulette. I can't put it any higher. Likewise, Green Fasa. Unfortunately, it's going to go down in our rogue category. I do actually have videos planned breaking down a bunch of these decks in depth even further, talking about staple cards, typical cards you see, and using a bunch of data from that spreadsheet. Again, link to the spreadsheet is down below. It's open to anyone with a computer, smart device, anything. You can check it out, go see that information, but I will be putting together some videos based on that in case you don't feel like looking at a spreadsheet. Ruby Sapphire, McDuck Manor Control, I've seen it called, a few different things. This deck has actually been popping up a ton more, and it's going to be in the middle of our tier 2. You might be thinking tier 2 is getting a little big here, isn't it? Because we're running low on decks down here, so what else could be better and what else could be in tier 1? Well, Purple Steel Aggro unfortunately is not that deck. It is another rogue strategy. Also, I do want to note every deck in this video has topped an event. We'll talk about what I consider a top also here very shortly. Ruby Amethyst Control. There is no doubt about it. You guys knew it was coming. This deck is the deck to beat. This deck is the tier 1. Steel Song, the deck chasing Ruby Amethyst Control, a deck that has been around since the first format, a deck that is tier 2. Yes, we have, well, spoiler alert at this point, only one tier 1 deck, and some people say, oh, that's a tier 0 format. It's really not, because tier 0 means if you're not playing this deck, you're not winning. All of these decks here are winning. They're just winning significantly less than this deck is. Tiana Control is going to come down here as another rogue strategy. There's not a whole lot else to say. We have our third Steel Amethyst deck, and this one being the control build, bounce control kinda from last format, carrying over, not really playing the Jafar stuff, but not being aggro, another rogue strategy. And finally, we have our bounce ramp deck, also going down in our rogue category. So we went through that pretty quick. Like I said, I got some more in-depth explanations and talking about some of these decks, but why do I put these decks in the categories that I do? Well, let's hop on over to the spreadsheet. We're going to be cropped out a little weird here. However, you can see we have, well, kind of like I said, cropped out a little weird there. The decks, top 16s, top 8s, top 4s, top 2s, and first place finishes for them, breaking it all down. Total tops, at the moment, we have 225 accounted for, and then their representation number. So 37% has so far been Ruby Amethyst Control. 9% being the Emerald, our tier 2 decks basically are in that 6.5 to 8.9% range. So what did I count as tops? 2 to 10 players, first place. 11 to 20, top 2. You can see it on the screen, top 4, top 8, top 16, because I don't think counting top 8 in a 18-person tournament is a viable way to see what the format looks like. So we do have some other things here. If you can see, make sure we're all on here. So again, check us out on YouTube. You're here. Check us out on Patreon if you want. You don't have to. And find tournament results at inkdex.com. I just want to put that out there because I'm surprised how many people are unaware of it. And then again, check the tabs down below for deck cores. I'm not doing all 200 decks and breaking it down that way, but all of the first and second place decks, I'm trying to put them all and put how many cards, how many played, 1, 2, 3, 4 ofs, consistent numbers, things like that. I'm going to be adding to those. Like I said, I'm still working on that part of the list spreadsheet. I just wanted to put the rest of it out there for you guys to see. Some editor's notes. Again, Emerald Steel, a lot of shift builds run Bucky, but that's not really discard. Discard means they're playing the Lucifers, the Prince Johns, other cards in that degree. Using the main focus of each deck also to be where I place it in the chart. And this list is incomplete because not every top is available to the public. So I use what I can find and put that in here. So again, this is complete to what I can find, and it's probably nearly complete, but there is some missing. And then lastly, tier 1 is 10 to 59.9%. It's a number that I've gone off of. It's a number that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is pretty adamant that it's kind of where these rankings come out. So that's just what I am using for this tier list. Again, tier 2, 5 to 9.9, tier 3, 2 to 4.9, and rogue being anything under 2%. So this tier list has nothing to do with my thoughts, nothing to do with my feelings. This tier list is 100% based on how the decks performed. I got so many other videos planned. I got some more to work on, more deck profiles coming your way. Like, share, subscribe, comment down below, especially for that beast giveaway, because that's what you have to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below. And again, if you're interested in the Kita, don't feel obligated, but we do have a Patreon. You can go check that out, and that Patreon will fund future giveaways on the channel. So I appreciate it, and thank you guys for watching. Until next time, take care.